So we've just come to the end of July. There's been a lot of changes this month to the gaming shelf. 2 big ticket items have been added. I've added 2 more consoles, the Xbox 360 and the PS3. It's not perfect, they're not like fully situated, but they're usable at least. It kind of all functions. I've also done some more changes, like I've started uploading weekly to my channel, which has been difficult, but it's been pretty cool so far. I have made some other subtle changes to the gaming shelf too. I feel like now that I've got these 2 consoles added, I'm in a much better spot to just focus on getting more games. The difficulty I had before with just the GameCube, Mega Drive and PS2 is that it's very easy to buy for PS2, Mega Drive a bit easier, and then GameCube's just kind of ridiculous. So it's been very out of balance, the games that I've had, but now I get the feeling my Xbox 360 collection is going to overtake my PS2 pretty quick. So I want to see the full unboxing of the PlayStation 3 and the 360. And the story behind that and kind of how much I managed to get it for. I'll show that unboxing now and then we'll get into the changes on the shelf. I have just picked up this parcel from the InPost locker. It is the evening of a work night, which is why it's so dark today. But I've just picked this up and I wanted to quickly record opening it up. So if you've seen any of my previous videos, you might have heard me mention that I was looking for a PlayStation 3. And in my last video I mentioned I was also looking for an Xbox 360. So I was kind of holding off on getting a PlayStation 3 because I wanted to pick one up with 2 controllers, just because generally it's a bit cheaper to pick it up with the 2 controllers. And also the price fluctuates a lot, and I just knew that if I waited for a bit I'd end up getting a good deal. But with the Xbox 360 I was less kind of fussed. I was more thinking it could be a good time to pick one up because a lot of people have been thinning out their collections. But I wasn't really actively looking for one. I was mainly still focused on kind of getting a PlayStation 3. And then I stumbled across this listing on Vinted. So this was from a Vinted seller that definitely isn't like a retro gaming or gaming seller at all. They are just someone that is selling their old clothes and their old baby clothes. And it just so happened that the day I was looking, they had just listed 2 consoles. If you're familiar with Vinted, if a seller's selling multiple things, you can add them to a bundle. So I added them to a bundle, I sent them an offer. I really didn't think they'd accept it. It was quite a low offer, but they accepted. And this box here and everything inside cost me just £75. There's a little bit of extra for shipping, but the cost was £75 for these. So as you could probably guess, in here is a PlayStation 3 and an Xbox 360. I still can't believe I managed to pick them both up for so cheap, and at the same time as well, after just thinking that I was going to get a 360. One of the reasons why I ended up going for quite cheap was because in the listing, the Xbox 360 didn't have a power cable. But when the seller was packing it up, they sent me a message to say that they found what they believe to be the power cable, and they've tested it and it does power on with it, so they've included it. Now, if you know Xboxes, it's not like they just have, it's not like they just accept any old connector. So the fact that they found something and it does work implies it is the power supply for it. So let's open it up. I obviously want to make sure everything's tested and working. The box is a little bit open already from delivery, but it's mostly held together. Okay, so what is this on top? AC, come on, that's got to be the Xbox adapter. Okay, so the first thing on top looks to be an Xbox power adapter. It does feel very light. There's no Microsoft or Xbox branding on it. Yeah, definitely a generic power adapter, but if it's enough to test it. Right, what is this? So here are the controllers. They didn't look too bad from the pictures. They are both official PlayStation 3 controllers. Like I said, I was looking for one. I was looking one that came with 2 controllers, and this does come with 2 controllers, which is obviously the main draw. But there's a bit of funkiness with the analog, so hopefully I can just take these apart. I'll take these apart and take a look, but the analogs are a bit sticky, so yeah, the controllers may need some looking at. And the Xbox controller as well. The Xbox controller actually feels and looks very, very good. I think the Xbox controller actually feels really good. So that's a good sign at least. Right, awesome. So here is the PlayStation 3. I know the lighting's not great. I'm rushing to film this. I literally just picked this up. So here is the PlayStation 3. It looks pretty clean. It might need a little dusting. Doesn't look too bad. And then here's the last package. And here is, damn, here is the Xbox 360 as well. Holy, there's a subtle rattle in the 360, but I'm sure all good 360s come with that. So it is a PS3 Slim and an Xbox 360S, which is also the one I was after anyway, so that's cool. So game room changes are happening. As you can see, I've pretty much taken most everything off the shelf apart from the games and the consoles. As you can see, I've just kind of piled everything on my desk. There's things like the Sonic and the Pokeball and, well, there's a Great Ball, things like that. Those will all go back on the shelves, but a lot of this stuff, like this Universe poster, I mean, really, I want to just put that up, really. And I kept these, I have these Fanta boxes, the Halo Fanta boxes. I kept them, I was just thinking there must be something I can do with them, but yeah, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with a lot of this stuff. But the important thing is the shelf. So the main objective today is going to be getting the PlayStation 3, which I just have sat there at the moment, the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, which is currently just on my desk. The goal is to get them into the shelf. So I've already been to IKEA and picked up another shelf for the Ivar unit that's just plug and play. I did make space in one of my previous videos. I showed I've made space here. So there is, I did measure it out at the time. There will be space to put these. I am kind of hoping that I can fit all three on the same shelf. I need to measure that. Obviously with the this PS2, the PS2 Fat, it's a front-loading one as well. So I'm kind of hoping I can get that, the Xbox 360 and the PS3 all on one shelf, and then leave the shelf with the bigger gap to be the top-loading ones like the GameCube, the Mega Drive, and then that leaves me a space in the middle for another console as well. So we'll see how it pans out. I've not actually tested to see if that all fits together. We'll get the shelf in. One thing before I get the shelf actually installed, I don't have the cables to connect the PS3 or the Xbox 360 to my CRT. Both of them came with just HDMI cables. I actually have every type of AV output available for the PS2. I actually already own just because I was experimenting earlier on. And the physical shape of the connectors are the same between the PS2 and the PS3. So I think before I install the shelf and start messing about, I'm going to see if those same cables work with the PS3, just as a test. Because if the current ones work, I know I can just rebuy the same thing. Obviously, if they don't work, then I'll need to figure something else out. So I'm pretty sure the connectors are identical. So let's swap the PS2 out for the PS3, and we'll see what it looks like on the CRT. Right, I've moved my phone over to the tripod, so hopefully you can see everything while I'm trying to do this. So, so the PS2 Fat should have the exact same connectors. All my consoles are connected via RGB SCART at the moment. So let's see what happens. So it should be plug and play, at least the connectors are the same. So we should just be able to swap this in. This isn't where the PS3 is going to live, but I just wanted to see. I just wanted to make sure it would work at least before we start changing anything else too drastically. That was actually quite quick to swap over. Right, so that's that plugged in. I've got the switcher set to the right one. Does that turn on? Okay. Okay. No signal. It's definitely in. It's definitely like, it's not half pushed in or anything. Let me just... No, that is the right... there's a SCART switch down here. I'm not sure if it's in frame, but it's definitely on the right one. Right, so I've just been having a Google. It probably, last time this was used, it was set to HDMI. So apparently you can just hold this down and it does a refresh. So let me prop you up. Can you see both? So if we apparently hold this down for 5 seconds, it should do another beep. Oh no, that was just turning it off. I think it's when you turn it back on. So you hold, so it's off right now. And then it says online you can just hold it down for 5 seconds and it should beep a second time. There's a second beep. Oh, that was something. That was a flash on the screen. No? Oh, is it not going to work? Oh! Oh, it's green. Why is it green? Is it set to component? I've just changed the camera settings, so you should be able to see the CRT now. I've grabbed the controller. I'm kind of hoping that this is just set to component out, because it is responding fine, it's just green. And I had this same issue on my PS2 before with an upscaler, so I'm guessing I can... Oh, display settings, that must... Come on, that must be it. So I want to set it to AV Multi, RGB. Change, yes. And there it is. It's as easy as that. I'm a genius, I know. There we go, cool. Well, that works. Perfect, okay, cool. Right, so, yeah, well, I guess I just need the same SCART cable in this. I just need another one. I only actually have one SCART slot left on my splitter, so that's going to be another thing. Okay, well, since that's working, I guess, yeah, we'll move on and get the shelf installed. This IVAR unit from IKEA is pretty nifty. Everything kind of comes in compact, like the pegs for the shelves are inside the shelves, but they're a bit of a pain to get out. You have to like use a screwdriver, jam it in there and pop it out. Come on. If you see my sweaty forehead, just know I'm roasting. And if I wasn't recording, I would almost definitely be naked. Cool. Right, now, I guess I just put it... I can't really remember what I had measured before, but it definitely fits. I'm going to have to go up one. That should still be enough space. It's not going to clear the cables otherwise, but to be honest, there should still be plenty of space, because I'm just thinking, I don't want everything too close together and then suffocate the consoles, you know. But that should be good. It's going to hide some of the horrendous cabling down there as well. Let's flip this around. No, I'm not taking the label off. When I bought these shelves from IKEA, one of the only negative reviews for the IVAR units was that the stickers are a nightmare to get off, and so I just haven't bothered taking any of them off. All of the shelves still have them on. I'm just putting them in the back corner so you don't notice them. But yeah, it's thankfully not something I care about, taking them labels off, but I'm sure that would irritate some people. How on earth am I going to get this in? I'm not going to be able to fit this in unless I take this shelf off, I don't think. Oh, if it wasn't hot already. It's getting hotter after this. Prepare for loud noise. Maybe I can slip this in like this. That might give me enough space, because I only need to slip in from the front. I know it sounds like things are breaking, but that's actually the sounds of things fixing. So that's those bangs and crashes. That's good noises. That's what you want to hear. That was more difficult than I was expecting, but that is all in. That hides a lot of the cables underneath. It's going to make the switcher a bit annoying to reach. Maybe. Can I move it, actually? It's not too bad. I can move it to the front. Okay, let's get the consoles back in. Okay, like I said, I want to test if these are all going to fit next to each other, but... Oh, no way. Yeah, so immediately, there's no way they're going to fit. Unless it hangs off the edge slightly. Yeah, not a chance. Not a chance. Ah, that's annoying. That's really close. Nah, I don't think that's going to work. They'll have to hang off the edge too much. And then it just all kind of looks squished in. I'll just need to get a smaller console, whatever the next one is. Quick rundown. Obviously not everything's back on the shelf yet, but I think that looks pretty neat. The only thing that's kind of throwing me off a bit is the PS2 in the middle. I'm kind of thinking now, maybe I'll put the GameCube in the middle and then it'll look a bit more symmetrical. Generally, I don't mind things being asymmetric. I actually quite like that, but there's some times where you want things to match. So things are cabled in the back, so I don't think there's going to be enough slack to move them right now, but we'll see. I think that might be worth doing though. But generally, if I just sit back a bit, I just completely sat on my PS3 controller. If I sit back a bit, so this is where I'm normally sat. Yeah, that looks cool. Howdy ho. Nice, that looks neat actually. Oh, cool, I'm getting hype. Oh yeah, that's sick. Oh, I want more lights now. Now I'm thinking I want like a... Oh. I was just looking at it thinking, that looks really cool. And now I'm thinking, right, now I want more lights and more changes to it. Yeah, well, I'm happy with the shelf gone in. Obviously, there's still more work to do, but it looks really cool so far. I'm going to quickly see if there's cable slack to quickly swap over the GameCube and the PS2. So let me do that real quick. Okay, this is just as a concept test. I think this definitely works. The only thing is where I have to put the PS2 off to the side, it's not going to fit there because obviously the power button's kind of hidden behind the beam there. So I think PS2 needs to move over here because there's a bit more space. Does it matter? I don't mind too much covering up the USBs. So there's a bit more space where I can move it over to that side. Mega Drive then goes on the right. GameCube in the middle. It's not quite center right now. I think that's more center with the TV. Yeah, okay, that looks cool. So that's as much as I can do today realistically. I might play around with these and move them around, but I'm going to need to go and get some things. So I've got a bit of a shopping list. I need another surge protected extension lead, and then I need the cables to hook these up, and then we can actually switch and get them on the TV. So that's it for this day. I'll catch up when more things have changed. Okay, so it's actually a few days after that last clip. I've made some more changes, as you can see. I've now swapped around the Mega Drive and the PS2. I think it looks nicer like this. It's nice and kind of symmetric across everything. I've got the PlayStation 3 cabled up, which I'll run through in a second. So what I've done since the other day, like I said, I've swapped those consoles across. I think they look better in this situation. And I've managed to find a workaround for the PS3 to get it hooked up. The Xbox 360, I've not hooked it up to the CRT yet because I'm still mainly using it for HDMI. And so I'm gonna leave it as it is for now. I can't think of a way to have it playable on the CRT and then still capture the HDMI signal, at least not without using a SCART cable and then converting that to HDMI, but it just seems like a waste since it's got HDMI anyway. I honestly think potentially the cheapest and simplest solution is just to get a second Xbox 360, keep one at my desk and then keep one here. But anyway, let's check this little workaround I've got going for the PS3. So what I managed to do, as I mentioned before, I don't have another SCART cable for the PS3. But what I do have is this down here off to the left. I appreciate it's dark, so you might not be able to see this great. This here is a external CRT control box. I showed it in one of my previous videos. Basically, just because the age of the CRT, the image is a bit wonky, and I don't have the original remote to be able to change that. So this basically lets me, there's some dials on there. I won't change it because it's set correctly. There's some dials on the top. Those dials let you move the picture. So right now I've got it set up for SCART. That's the SCART in, that's the SCART out at the back there. You'll just have to believe me. I know you can't see it. And then this is my switch. So this is currently, that's my PS2. So basically this control box has SCART in, SCART out, but it also has component and composite on the sides. Now I didn't think they would work together, but it turns out if you just plug a cable in. So this composite cable is actually going to my PlayStation 3. It lets you use this to convert the signal. So I'll show you what I mean quick. Let me turn on my, if I turn on my TV and my PS2. So that's the PS2 booting up. And then just for reference, let's just turn on the Mega Drive, and we can just, if we turn off the PS2, turn on the Mega Drive, then obviously that's the Mega Drive. But now, if I turn off all of these, turn off the control box, which is just one red button, and then PS3. It takes a second. I don't know how the PS3 is the slowest to boot as well. I swear, newer consoles just take so much longer to boot. But there we go. PS3. Yeah, it's a bit of a workaround. Obviously, it is only composite, so it doesn't look as good as it could. 4 consoles integrated. The Xbox, I kind of just think I'm going to get a second Xbox. But anyway, let's go over the other changes quick. A quick unrelated change, just because you may have noticed it in the background. I've added a new bass amp and a bass guitar, if you've seen them in the background of my other videos. But I have this lovely giggable Fender Rumble 100. I say giggable. The drummer that we have doesn't play like a maniac, so this is pretty good for keeping up with him. And then I've also got a jazz bass, a Sire Marcus Miller V5 in Tide Pool Blue. Anyway, enough of that. Back to the games. It may look like I've got less games, but I've kind of changed how I'm doing the layout. So the first thing I've done, I've swapped PS2 and put that at the top. I get that this makes it look like it's less of a display, but I don't really mind that much. I'd rather have the storage than it just look perfect all the time. But basically what I've done is I've wrapped the games around the side. So my thinking is I've only got 2 PlayStation 1 games at the moment. My plan is to do PlayStation 1. It's probably only going to be halfway. There's only like 10 PlayStation 1 games that I want. And then the PS2 wraps all the way around to the front. PS2 is going to go all the way down probably, and possibly even round the corner as well eventually. This is just where I put my CDs at the moment. Or some of my CDs, most of them are in my car. So this will eventually wrap around, and then PS3 will be down this side. And then similar situation here. Xbox 360, I've only got one at the moment. There will be a few original Xbox games, which will probably kind of wrap around. Xbox 360 is probably going to take up more space than anything else, I kind of suspect. And then at the end here, we've got the GameCube and Mega Drive. I don't think I'm ever going to want more GameCube and Mega Drive than this area. I mean, even if I get 10 GameCube games and then like 15 Mega Drive, I feel like that'll fit. Probably pretty good. Anyway, so those are all the changes that have happened this month. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I kind of think from this point onwards there's going to be more changes more rapidly, especially with making weekly videos now. There's a lot of different things I'm planning on doing. But that's the update for the game room for this month. I'm going to try and record more throughout the month. So then by the end of the month, it's kind of a bit more of a time lapse. Just for my own sake, I think it'll be really cool to look back and see monthly updates as the game room kind of evolves. But anyway, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully one of the other videos on the screen looks appealing and you can click on one of them. Or don't. Or shut down. Go to bed. Go to bed.